Yeah. Mm, it's me. Oh, boy. No. And away we go. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Enhanced Sports Show, which is just a little bit after 4 o'clock in the New York, New Jersey area. My name is Louis Tenor. For those of you who don't know, although by now I think you probably do know, uh, we're on until till six till just about 6 o'clock before Rasal takes over. The number to call is 512-543-4662. I'll repeat it again: 512-543-4662. Okay, I think we got some calls already here. Steve Davidson, are you there? Good. I'm glad you're feeling better too. All right. Steve Kent. Steve Kent. All right. Diane. Gerald. Mickey. Good. Glad I got a roll call. All right. So I don't know what it's like in some of your areas, but in the New York, New Jersey area, boy, it is loaded. And I mean loaded with sports action. All five of our teams have made the playoffs. This is the first time in nearly 30 years that all five teams, that means the Nets, I'll get to them a little bit later. The Knicks, the Devils, the Rangers, and oh yeah, the Islanders too. Yeah, we can't forget them. So it's been busy for it's our busiest season so far in 3 decades. Everyone's a sports fan, enjoying it. However, I am not enjoying what happened with our first elimination. Next went down to the 76ers about 20 minutes ago. For those of you who saw it as well as I did, well, I'm sorry. What can I say? I mean, despite it's not the fact that they lost, but lost in a four-game sweep for crying out loud. I mean, I thought for sure we'd get one game without the absence of Joel Embiid. I mean, because he was the top scorer for the Sixers, and I thought, well, maybe we can get at least 2 games out of it. But then again, you got your other secret weapon, Kevin Durant, with the James Harden with the beard, and unfortunately, that was the dagger for us as we went down in this final game, 96-88. Another disappointing postseason for the Brooklyn Nets. What can I tell you guys? I mean, Philly has just been too strong. They've been strong all year, and they find a way to beat us and sweep us again. I mean, you can't deny what they did though in this season. I mean, early in the season they were horrible. I mean, they didn't even look like they even had a chance to make the postseason. But then they turned it around like in January. Had a little bit of a slump towards the end of this season, and managed to make the sixth seed. But I think in all likelihood we knew they were going to get far, especially going to Philadelphia, as Philadelphia once it was the third seed, and we have the sixth seed, and we go down in flames. Games one and two were completely horrible. I mean, they had no chance. They lost by 20 points in the first game, and considerably wide margin in the second game. They did have a chance in game three, but they messed that up in the last minute of the game, thanks to a steal. And the Nets started out this game good. They were hitting their shots in the fourth game, and it looked like they were going to be on their way to a victory. But the second half, they just fell flat completely, and that was the end of that. So Another season down, another postseason down the tubes for the Nets, despite the fact I thought we were going to get better. So let me ask my Jersey crew first, if anybody saw the game. Uh, Mike, what did you make of this game and the series? And what, to put it this way, what did we do wrong? No, no, we'll get to that in a little bit. The Nets against the Sixers. Not yet, not yet. Mhm. Or lack of offensive shooting, as the case may be, Mike. Yeah. Well, our defense, our defense was shabby in the second half, and our offense was awful. I mean, you can't expect to win a game like that with the way they're how their lackluster performance in the third in the beginning of the third quarter, and then just went down south from there. I mean, once Harden starting those 3 pointers, everything that was just it. I mean, they looked like they were going to be competing in that, but in the fourth quarter when Philly went by double digits, that was it. And I was ready even to turn the game off with about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like, nah, this isn't it. A miracle is not going to happen. And once again, they blew it. I mean, what do you think that is going to be happening this season? I mean, is someone going to have to go? Is there going to be changes in the front office, or what do we see heading into the off season? Um, let me ask that with Steve Davidson first. Well, that ain't working. True. Yeah. Yeah. And that ain't working. Well, yeah, fun. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. All right. Steve Ken, your thoughts on this series of what went wrong? Yes. Yes. No, they really did. They really didn't. No. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yes. I get. Oh, I hate that word. Because I hate that word. Yes. Mm. I think Mills is gone too. I thought once we got rid of Irving, our problems would be solved. But when we got Spencer Dimwit back in the mix, yeah, that was another problem right there. Of course. Well, nope. Yeah. You should. They should. Yet. Yeah. Uh, too much. Right. I hope. I hope. Pass- The password is sucker. Oh, I think one or two people might, but not very many. There's always somebody, Steve. There's always somebody. No, no, they didn't. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yes, yes. Mhm. Yes. Right. Exactly. All right. Oh, before I forget, also that we're on YouTube. After the show, just go into YouTube and dial in the Enhanced Sports Show, and you'll see this broadcast up on the site. So keep that in mind. All right, Gerald, your thoughts on this on the Battle of the Turnpike that we just had? Yeah. Yes, but you can't win if you don't score either. So keep that in mind. Uh, how about junior varsity? Okay, Diane, your thoughts? Diane, I know she's there. All right, moving on. But on the other side of that, the Knicks had a great game against the Cavaliers last night. Not, although it was more of a defensive struggle because they barely nobody got to 100 points, and the Cavaliers only scored this 79 points in total. That is the lowest ever for any playoff team. So right then and there, that was just even though that in the first quarter, Cleveland had the upper hand on him, but it was a complete defensive game. In fact, it was only 19-17 at the end of the first quarter. I'm like, what kind of a game is this? I mean, it didn't look like it was going to be much of a high shooting affair. And in the early part of the game, they had us on the ropes. But the Knicks managed to take control in the second half and just embarrass Cleveland in front of a very raucous crowd at the Garden. I love that. And it was a very hard fought win. They show a statement. I hope how the series should play out. Um, we were locked and loaded. Say guard Jalen Bruson. Give credit to coaching staff. Gave us ready, and everyone was just locking us into our game plan, and we sure did. Both teams did struggle early on, just into the emotion of the Garden crowd, but the Knicks took control of the game as they tightened up on defense, holding Cavaliers guard Darius Garland to 4 for 21 shooting. You're not going to win a game with that, buddy. And got revenge as Darius Garland, who beat us to shreds in game two, 32 points, but that threw was out the window yesterday. Bruce had 21 points, 6 assists, and answered the bell right from the word go for our game, while making several huge plays that put the game out of reach for the Cavaliers. Thank God. The Knicks took advantage of the Cavaliers 20. The Cavaliers had 20 turnovers in the game, and the Knicks got 28 points off of that in a game that baskets were not easy to come by. So now the Knicks are up 2-1. Game four is tomorrow at MSG, and RJ Barrett scored 19 points. I mean, I'm happy with the win. I didn't think it was going to be. I mean, I think I knew they were going to win that game, but I didn't think it was going to be a rout of 20 points. I thought maybe it'd be a little more competitive than that. but we gotta take the lead in the series, and now we have the game four tomorrow night. Boy, the Garden's gonna be busy this weekend. We had the Knicks last night. We got the Rangers tonight and Monday, and we got the Knicks tomorrow. Boy, busy time in the Garden, folks. All right, so going into game four, um, Mike, what do you make of it with game four as they face the Cavaliers? All right. Uh, Gerald? All right. Steve Kent? I don't think so. No, 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 no. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Orange Moon. Yeah. Yeah. I seriously doubt that. Juarez, yes. Uh-oh. Yes. Yeah. Obi-Wan. I would hope not. I would hope not. I mean, because we need him. We need Julius Randle. I mean, he's gonna be, he's gonna help us in this series now. And without him, I think it might be a very difficult series. I mean, right. What do you make of your What do you make of your Celtics though? Yes. Yeah. Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Forget it. Yes. Steve Davidson, your thoughts? Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Right. Anybody else? Next one, 99-79 die. Easy victory. And Joel Embiid, well, he suffered a right knee injury. He was out for Game 4, but didn't matter because Sixers still won without him. Embiid, who returned to Philadelphia for an MRI on his right knee, could return as early as next week, depending on, of course, now who plays in the next series. And it was uncertain if he was going to play for Game 5, but now there is no Game 5, so now he can rest up. Embiid is the front runner for this year's MVP. He just on a drive by forward Cam Johnson of the Nets. He could be seen grabbing it at the knee and limping, but remained on the court and got the victory. Embiid was seen wearing an ice pack on his knee after the game, but he felt fine. Embiid was at the injury report on yesterday. So even despite the fact with his absence, they still managed to beat us soundly. All right. So right now we got the Suns and the Clippers, but the Clippers, yep, Kawhi Leonard injured. What else is new? As the choke artist of the playoffs are this right now. I don't. However, I'm not surprised. Well, I mean, maybe the injury is more serious than we think, and that's why he was ruled out. I mean, mm, the old man's routine. Yeah, I see. Okay, so it was like a personal decision. I don't know if I can play this game or not. I'm feeling about yeah, right. Bull. Well, all right. Hmm. Somehow I don't think that was a good call to make. I think if you're good enough to play and say you are, um, then I think you should play. I think you have the right to play, even if everybody else said no. You know, if you feel you're good enough, then I say do it. But then again, they said, well, if another injury that happens, it could be more severe. So I get the point of that too. But I think ultimately in this, I know. I think in this decision, you have to make the call yourself. Yes. And you call yourself a teammate? Get out of here. Really? All right. So in the well, I mean, yeah, I don't know about that. All right. So in the other series, and by the way, right now the Suns are up 46-42 over the Clippers. All right. So what do we like in the Heat Bucks series? Now, I got news for you. I was pretty shocked in game two when the Bucks lost to the Heat. However, with Giannis out that game, it did serve as an advantage to the Heat, even though they were out their star player Tyler Hero. They managed to take advantage of it. So, is anybody really concerned about with Giannis' status, and could Miami play spoiler in this series? Steve Kent, I'll start that with you. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Grayson Allen. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, I'd rather take a chance on losing Grayson Allen because he is, of course, a troublemaker. So, you know how I feel about Grayson Allen. He was a troublemaker in college, and he's still a troublemaker here. Enough said. Yeah, Gerald, your thoughts? Mm, right. Okay. Steve. Okay. All right. Okay. Mike and Diane. The heat's gonna cool off. I get it. Okay. Oh boy. And and last but not least, what about the Lakers and Grizzlies? Like I said, this is not a typical 7-2 matchup. Okay, the Lakers are seventh and the Grizzlies are in second, but I don't think this is a typical 2-7 matchup. I still think the Lakers have a chance. Yeah. So, what do you still make? Do you think the Lakers may have a shot to pull an upset here, or is the Grizzlies gonna pull it off? Just wait till I call your name first. Steve Davidson, your thoughts? Yes. All right. Okay. Well, this version of a highlight reel. Steve Kent. That's weird. Yes. Yes. Right. Yeah. Right. Right. Yes. Right. Right. Yes. Hang on. I got another call here from Connecticut. Would you state your name for the record, please? Yeah. Oh, hello, Daryl. Nice to. I didn't know you were from Connecticut, actually. Ah, interesting. But from a 203 area, I know what two. I know what 203 is. Well, welcome aboard to the show. First time caller, so it's nice to welcome you. So we're discussing NBA playoffs right now. I want to get your thoughts on any series that you made the call, any series you thought. Right. Yeah. Understandable. We'll get to that in a little while, but we'll do that. We'll take care of the USFL because I have an interesting question about that as well. So I hope you stick around for it. Gerald, your thoughts on Lakers Grizzlies? I know. Okay. Now, enough said. Steve. Okay, Steve, your thoughts on Lakers Grizzlies? You. I already. Very funny. Yeah. All right. So no opinion, Steve. Okay, Memphis. Okay, I didn't hear it. All right, Diane. Yeah, Mike. Lakers Grizzlies. Do the Lakers have a chance against the Grizzlies or no? Smart man. Look, I know this guy 35 years. He knows what he's talking about. Okay. All right. So I want to touch up on something I neglected to do a few weeks ago because we have the Naismith Hall of Fame basketball class of 2023, and I think you'll agree this is a good lineup for who got in this season. Is now official. We have Dirk Nowitzki, Tony Parker, Paul Gasol will join Dwayne Wade, head coach Greg Popovich, or as I say, Papa, and Becky Hammond, WNBA superstar. Um, they'll be enshrined on between the weekend of August 11th and 12th in Springfield, Massachusetts. Oh, and Connecticut too. Hey, Daryl, maybe you might want to catch that. This is bad. This is yeah, yeah, it is because it all. I mean, they're gonna be held in Massachusetts and Connecticut, so maybe you might want to check it out. Okay. So anyway, also getting the Hall's call is former NC State coach Jim Valvano. Of course, you have to have Jimmy V. You got it. 19, 1976 women's Olympic basketball team. Former Purdue coach Gene uh, Keady, former Texas A&M women's coach Gary Blair, longtime Division III coach at Amherst David Hickson, and Gene Best, who won 1,300 games as a junior coach at Three Rivers Community College in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, or Missouri as the case may be. The four players, Dirk, Gasol, and Wade, combined for, listen to this, guys, 95,092 points, 39 All Star appearances, 10 NBA championships. Hammond was a six-time WNBA All Star and is currently the coach of the WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces. Hey, this is not this. We're not fooling around here. This is top-notch nominees that got in. And Papa, yeah, you did. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. Yep. Chicago Sky, and then Kiss the Sky. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, and as for Papa, well, all he's done really is win five NBA titles, more games than anyone else in the league in history, and an Olympic gold medal in Tokyo for 2021. Other than that, not much, he says sarcastically. Uh, he's amazing, said Coach Warriors coach Steve Kerr, who played for Popovich and coached under the USA basketball team at the 2019 World Cup. And then at Tokyo, the Hall of Fame was just a formality. Everybody knew he was going to get in. Oh, no kidding. Duh. What a shock. Yeah. So, this class I think makes perfect sense. Anybody else agree with me, or did somebody get left out? If anybody has anything anybody that someone else should have been in, state your case now. Steve Davidson, was there anybody missing from this class? Good, good, good. Steve Kent. Gerald, Diane, Mike, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame class. No, no. The names I just mentioned. Do you see anybody who should not be on the list, or is this list okay with you? Good, so do I. Okay, it's unanimous. Oh, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. All right, so we have more NBA awards that are have come out. So just in case if I missed anything, I'll go over this again. Jerry West Clutch Player of the Year, De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings. Hey, look, the Kings are on their best season in 17 years, and he's a big part of it. So go figure that out. The first time All Star in 2023, letting clutch points 194 and clutch points per game 5.0 in the regular season. He also sank a league high 3 go-ahead field goals in the final second of a fourth quarter or overtime game and shot 52.9% from the floor in clutch moments. Can't we just say 53 for round numbers for crying out loud? Sheesh. Ugh, really? Where do you get 52.9? Coach of the Year, Mike Brown, Sacramento Kings. Another good choice. The Kings hired Mike Brown to replace their interim coach Alvin Gentry, which I thought did a good job last year. In May of 2022, his first season with the team, Brown snapped the Kings' 17-year playoff drought by coaching the Kings to the third seed in the Western Conference. This is Brown's second time winning Coach of the Year. He won back in 2009 as coach of the Cavaliers, and I think that is definitely the right call because the season they had. I mean, like I said, this is the turnaround team of the year. I mean, nobody I think was expecting the Kings to do this well. I mean, the third seed in the playoffs, but they have surprised everybody. This is the surprise team of the year in the whole league. If anybody doesn't agree with me, okay, fine, but that's the way I see it. I mean, what a year they've had. Sixth man of the year. Oh, Steve Kent, that is one of your boys, Malcolm Brogdon. Sixth, yeah. Started in 258 of 333 games, in which he played over the course of 6 years in his career. But the Celtics' other ideas, as it turns out, the season's decision to bring Brogdon off the bench entirely of the season could have not turned out any better, pretty much. He averaged 14.9 points per game, the third most of the Celtics behind Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, along with 4.2 points, rebounds, and 3.7 assists in 26 minutes per game during the regular season. And Brown helped Boston secure number 2 in the East. He also scored 21 points and 18 times on the year. So, Steve, I mean, I think this is a definite choice for the sixth man of the year in your case. Yes, sure. Yes. Right. Mhm. Yes. Right. Mhm. Yeah. Daryl, your thoughts. Yes. All right. Anyone else have anything? Gerald? Steve? Jersey crew? Diane? Mike? Okay, make it unanimous. And finally, last but not least, we have the Defensive Player of the Year, which goes to Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Grizzly Bears. You call them Memphis Grizzlies. Jackson had averaged 3.0 blocks per game, also a Grizzlies single season franchise record, and averaged nearly 7 rebounds per game. The Grizzlies finished first in the West and third with the NBA in the NBA with a defense rating that was, and Jackson was a big reason why at 110.7 points. This is Jackson's first career Defensive Player of the Year. He received 56 first place votes to beat out finalist Brooke Lopez of the Yucks, Bucks, Evan Mobley of the Cavaliers. He is a product of Michigan. He is a product of Michigan State, the second youngest player to win the award, only trailing Dwight Howard. So, what do you make of that with Jackson winning the Defensive Player of the Year? Anybody can answer, but one at a time, please. Okay. All right. Anybody else? One at a time. Who wasn't first? Right. Yes. Right. Yes, that could have happened. Yeah. Okay. Well, also, once upon a time, the Raptors were on top of the basketball world, but now they have completely fallen apart as they have fired Coach Nick Nurse, who probably now needs a doctor, clearing the way for Ime Udoka to become a serious contender for his replacement. Nurse coached the Raptors their first and only time in 2019 and met with team president Massi Uri several times in recent days before a decision was made to release him. Is somebody having a problem? Ease up on that. No, I mean somebody's having a problem with their audio. I hear something. All right. Well, the decision to make a change like this is never easy or to be taken lightly. No kidding. When it involves a person who's played a major role in winning their first title and a steady leader in terms of the most challenging times, you're resaying a statement. This is an opportunity for us to regroup and refocus to put into place and personnel, the players who will help us reach our goal of winning another title. It's just amazing, though, that how just 4 years ago they were on top of the world, and now it's time to crash and burn. Well, I suppose that can happen, but I didn't think it's gonna happen that quick. I thought maybe Toronto had maybe some more in them after that. So, what do we think of Nurse out of the Raptors? Any thoughts on that? Go right ahead. Right. Does he need a doctor? Oh, okay. Next. Anybody else? No. Yes. 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 Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Yes. Sort of, sort of. Right, right. Until the Raptors die. Yeah. Yes, yes. No, no, not at all, not at all. Yes. All right. Oh, Steve, I wanted to ask you some. I don't know about you, but I was a little bit surprised in game two of your Bruins on Saturday, on Monday, Wednesday, right, when they lost when that game. I mean, here I am thinking, well, 65 and whatever the case was. I mean, they set the record for most points and most wins in the season, and they collapsed in game two. What happened? I mean, I know, of course, the fact that Bergeron had an injury, but I was a little bit surprised by how they just got beat up in game two. Should that be a concern going into later in the series? Should this be a concern for Boston? I saw it. I saw it. Right. Yes. Right. Right. Yes. I mean, yeah, but Steve, 15 turnovers in a game? They didn't have that all season. Sure did. No. Yes. Yeah. Uh, right. Yeah, but Krejci, I think, is on his way back, right? Ah, yeah. Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Nice off. Right. All right. So anyway, on to our neck of the woods. All right, Mike and Diane, what's wrong with the Devils? Down 2-0. They get beat up 5-0 in both games. I thought it was going to be a much better run for them. Even though that the division was very tight between the two, only 3 points separate them, but the Rangers are just dominating, on the offense, and the Devils' defense hasn't done much at all. And I hate to say it, Di, but your boy, uh, Jackie boy, only the only time he scored the goal was an um, you know, on a penalty shot. Other than that, they haven't really done much of anything. Roger's here. Roger, nice to hear you again. So let me ask. Let me ask my Jersey crew first. What did All right, and then give me your thoughts on the Devils Ranger game. Go. Why not? Why not? Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson. Bird brain. Yuck. Larry Bird brain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he wasn't. So you think they needed a much better defense. But remember now, they're going to enemy territory at the Garden, and you know that Garden crowd's going to get on the Devils tonight, and Monday for that matter. So what do they need to do to shape it up? Yeah, your voice has changed. Was that Mike? Oh boy. Okay, enough said on that one. Okay, Steve Davidson, your thoughts on the Devils Rangers series so far, and what do the Devils need to do? You can say that again, Roger. I'll ask anyway. Right. Okay, Devin's here too. Okay, guys, I want to just make one note of that. Okay, the Rangers are up 2-0, but remember, they were up 2-0 last year against going the series against Tampa Bay, and they lost in six. So, as much as it was a good start, it did not turn to be a good finish. So, don't let this be discouraging that the Devils are down 2-0 because it can change in a hurry. So, keep that in mind. And when the Devils played the Rangers in 1994, the Devils were up 1-0 and they went up 3-2. But guess who won that series, guys? Thank you very much. Uh, wrong, wrong. 94. Daryl, yes. Daryl, I don't know if you follow hockey at all, but you have any thoughts on the Devils Rangers series? Yeah. Daryl, any thoughts on Devils Rangers? Okay. I get it. How about you, Devin? Any thoughts? Okay. All right. All right. So, and right now, and the Islanders had a very strange game last night. The score was tied at 1-1 with 3 minutes to go, but you're not going to believe how it turned out. The Islanders scored 4 goals in just 3.5 minutes, and that is a record. It broke a 79-year-old record, but I'm not joking, really. That's how it happened. It was 1-1 with 3 minutes to go. It was 1-1 with 3 minutes to go. So naturally, thinking overtime. Well, surprise, They scored 4 goals in just 2.5 minutes and soundly beat the Hurricanes. I mean, they needed the win, but I mean, this is ridiculous. How do you score 4 goals in that short of time? Oh yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. Yes, yes. Yes, I know. He went under the MRI too. So I was just gonna get into that. So yeah, that could be a problem too for Carolina. Now they are one of their best players. So the Honors took advantage of it, and they needed that game though. To be honest. So yeah, they needed that game. Yes, exactly. They do exactly. Or to put it this way. Yes. 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 Oh sure. Yeah. Right. So yes. Absolutely. So anyway, it was Kyle Palmieri's power play goal with 3 minutes 51 seconds to go that got the ball rolling, or the puck dropping, that is. Also score were for Matt Martin, defenseman Scott Mayfield, forwards Anders Lee. Oh, of course, Anders Lee. Sure. Montreal had the previous record back in a span of 235, going back to 1944. But that game was over early anyway, as they won 11-0. So it was hardly it was hardly anything worth mentioning. So on that note, we have our idiot of the week here. Just let me find it. Uh, oh, by the way, Patrice is not going to travel with the team to Florida. Hopefully, he'll be back on Monday. But he did take the ice to practice. He did practice on the ice. Okay, just to clear up on that. And our and Dallas center star Joe Pavelski is not going to be traveling to Minnesota as he's in a protocol taking a hit with a concussion. Head coach Pierre DeBoer said that before heading to their former home in Minnesota, he hoped to return later in the series. He is getting better every day, said DeBoer. He was in he was at the game 3, but not will not be traveling with us. He cleared the yeah. Pavelski cleared the puck midway through the second period of game 1 when he took a hit from wild defenseman Matt Dumba. Pavelski banged his head and was hard on the ice and fell down. Back in 2019, he missed the first 6 games of the Western Conference Series when the Sharks faced the Avalanche and taking hit in Game 7. Boy, talk about being injury prone. Yeah. And Devin Booker, well, Devin Booker is Devin Booker. What can I say about that? I mean, we have to figure that out. Okay. And got that there. So now I'm going to turn over to some football news here for a minute because I have a question, especially for all you Dallas haters out there. Oh, Steve, you're going to love this question. Ready? All right. To you Dallas Cowboys hater out there, I know there's a few of you. Okay, which is better? A, Dallas not making the playoffs, B, making the playoffs and losing, or C, going to the Super Bowl, and losing, or D, I don't care. Steve, your thoughts? Yes. Right. Gerald. Gerald. Right, but what's worse? Mike. Okay. Roger. Yeah. Your thoughts, because I know you don't like the Cowboys. Devin, I know he's there. I'll get back to him. All right. So moving along. All right. So let's cover some of the football action with the USFL and the XFL as we enter the final week of the season for the XFL. And I have a question about both leagues. All right. So week 10 going on right now. St. Louis beat Orlando 53 to 28. Wow. Who had St. Louis? Okay. Anyone else? All right. And coming up, actually, right now, DC is playing San Antonio. Steve, I know you got DC, right? I am, yeah. And okay, anybody else have any thoughts? No, I guess not. All right. All right. So, oh, and tomorrow's games. Like I said, we're in the final week of the season. Where'd it go? Okay. Tomorrow's games are as follows: Houston versus Arlington. I'll take Houston. Who has thoughts on that game? Okay. All right. Anyone else? Anyone? Anyone else? Okay. I'm gonna take ours. And finally, Vegas versus Seattle. I got Seattle. Yeah. Right. Yes. Very sad story. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Right. That's really a shame. Yeah. Okay. So on now to the USFL. I was gonna mention that earlier, Steve, but thank you. All right. On to the USFL. Week 2. All right. Houston versus New Orleans and Memphis versus Birmingham. All right. Okay. Who do you got, Steve? All right. Gerald. Well, it's Houston, New Orleans first. Who had that? Houston is playing New Orleans. That game was earlier. Who did you have? Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts on that? Mike? All right. Uh, Devin? Devin? Um, all right. And Roger. Okay. Second game. Now we have Memphis. Now we have Birmingham. Memphis and Birmingham. That's at 7 o'clock. Steve. Gerald. Roger. Mike. Alex. Okay. Okay. All right. Did I get you, Devin, on that one or no? Okay. I think everybody there. All right, for tomorrow's games. If I didn't get your name, speak up now. Forever hold your peace. Okay. All right. Okay. New Jersey versus Pittsburgh. Okay, I know how I'm going with that one. Steve. Uh, okay, fine. Uh, Mike. Gerald. Thank you. Roger. Devin. And Alex. Thank you. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. And finally, Michigan at Philadelphia. Steve. Thank you, Elton John. Uh, okay. Oh, you're on. Okay. All right. Mike. Thank you. Roger. Evan. Of course. And Alex. Gerald, did I get you? Philadelphia and Michigan. Michigan. Okay. Okay. Gee, I wonder why. All right, guys. Now let me ask you a question here. I want you to listen. Okay. Now let me ask you a question, guys. Now this is a very interesting question. Sorry. Now this is a very interesting question that I thought of. Now, what do you think is a better league, the USFL or the XFL? And do you think both leagues have a chance to survive after this season is over? So, Steve, I'll start with you. What's a better league, first of all? Yes, okay. Now your options are the XFL or the USFL or the ever popular I don't care. So, okay. Of course. Gerald, there is a rumor about that. Remember, we haven't seen this since the 60s with both football leagues at the same time. The last time was the AFL and the NFL, just before I was born. And we know how that turned out. But what do you think league is better, though, Gerald? Which league is better? Okay, flip a coin. Mike? Okay, okay, good, good. Diane, I knew you were going to say that. Roger? Okay, right. Well, they did, but they moved. They did, but they moved. Okay, Devin. I think they moved it. I think they moved south. I'll have to check that again. Devin. Of course. Alex. I'm going USFL to be honest with you. I thought that's a much better league. It has much better chance for I think people making the pros and whatnot. And Daryl has seen left us, but I think he would say he wouldn't. It doesn't matter to him. So thank you on that. Okay, so moving on from that. Yes, yes, yes. Do it, do it. Oh yeah. Okay. Think it over. Think it over. Okay. So on to our idiots of the week here, and we got quite a few of them. James Harden was ejected in the third quarter of Thursday's game against the Nets after receiving a flagrant two foul. against the next forward, Royce O'Neal. Harden was whistled for an offensive foul against O'Neal after being isolated against him on the perimeter with 13.6 seconds left in the third quarter. After replay showed Harden hitting O'Neal in his midsection, yowza. After a lengthy review, he was assessed with a flagrant 2 foul and was ejected, and rightfully so. The Harden incident came after the opening minutes of the game that featured another flagrant foul in the incident by net center Nick Claxton, fouled Sixers center Joel Embiid less than 3 minutes into the game and stepped over Embiid with the Sixers laying on, while the Sixers star was laying on the ground. Embiid then grabbed Claxton's midsection as he stood over him, causing both teams to rush together. And after a lengthy review, Embiid was issued with a third foul one, while Claxton was issued a technical foul. The crowd cheered as Harden missed the free throw, with Claxton made his. Oh, by the way, what about stepping on the chest of a player? Now that's got to be really stupid as well. Oof. That is definitely a pure idiot of the week for sure. Yes. Say it. Oh yeah. Yes. Yes. And rightfully so. No. I get your point. Yeah. It happened before. It happened back in this. Ah, yeah. Huh. Here's yeah. Yeah. Speaking of more idiots, um, speaking of more idiots, how about this one? Draymond Green. Oh, what a shock! Draymond Green for stepping on the chest of Domantas Sabonis of the Kings. The announcement was made back on Thursday. The suspension was based upon Green's history of unsportsmanlike conduct in the postseason. Oh, what a surprise! The incident between Green and Sabonis occurred 5 minutes into the fourth quarter. After Sabonis slipped and fell in the paint, he grabbed the right leg of Green. He shook off Sabonis' grip and took a hard step to the chest of Sabonis. Stupid! Sabonis suffered a bruised sternum and was questionable for Game 3. Green is known for being a troublemaker, especially in the playoffs, as he been called for 6 flagrant fouls and 27 technical fouls in 147 playoff games. Nice going, stupid. This is the second time in playoffs that Green will serve a suspension. The first in 2016 in the finals after receiving too many flagrant fouls in the playoffs that season, and was probably the reason why they lost to the Cavaliers in the finals, despite having a 72 and 8 and 10 season. Nice going, dummy. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Another Dennis Rodman. Okay. Early in the playoffs, Green was ejected for kicking Steven Adams of the Grizzlies uh, in the that area down there, which is terrible for a guy. Oh, ouch. In 2018, the Warriors suspended Green 1 game without pay for becoming a complete moron uh, to terminal conduct, as they call it, to the team after an altercation with Kevin Durant. Earlier this season, he spent time away from the team for punching Jordan Poole during practice. What a nut! First it was Rodman, and now we got Green. Oh boy, this is terrible. Whatever happened to sportsmanship, people? It doesn't seem like we have that anymore. Yeah, right out the window, both windows. Oof, just uncalled for. You're supposed to help your teammates, not clash in with them. And stepping on somebody's chest that could really hurt somebody too. I mean, that is really just uncalled for. I have a good news story here, and I think you're going to agree with me with that. And Diane, you're going to love this. since you're a Bills fan, somewhat. Okay, listen carefully. Bills safety Damar Hamlin has been cleared to return to playing football, said by manager Brandon Bean back on Tuesday. Tuesday, yes. Hamlin saw his last specialist on Friday and his attendance and he participating last Friday that is, and is even participating in voluntary workouts with the Bills. He is in a good place, headspace to make his return. He said that Hamlin saw I knew you like it. I knew you like it. He said that Hamlin saw three specialists after suffering cardiac arrest in the Bills' last game on January 2nd, which we all saw and watched in horror uh, against the Bengals. All three specialists were in agreement that Hamlin would be able to return. Hamlin said in February that he hoped to return to the field. Eventually, that is the goal. I said as a comparator, you know I'm trying to do things to keep advancing in my situation. Hamlin told Michael Strahan. Some of you might be familiar with that name. Uh, before this year, yes, before this year's Super Bowl, but I'm allowing that to be in God's hands, and I'm thankful that I've been giving a second chance. That has got to be remarkable. We thought he was left for dead, when the injury happened on that night, which I actually saw. I think some of you saw it too. And to come back from this and now being cleared to play is nothing short of a miraculous turnaround for this young player, for this young safety. I mean, really, that is just completely that is completely amazing. Uh, exactly. Diane, I gotta get your thoughts on this since you are a Bills fan and you were rooting on Hamlin. So I gotta get your thoughts. Yes, I think we all are. That yeah. Yeah, so was I. Yeah. We all thought that. We were all thinking that. Luckily he's not. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yeah. Yes, it is. I told you I had a feel good story of the week. I think I might have another one. Yes, yes. Okay, Jalen Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who recently became the highest player in the NFL history, underwent surgery this offseason on his right ankle. The procedure was to remove the hardware that was inserted in the ankle after he suffered an ankle sprain when he played for Alabama back in 2018. Why? Why now though? Why did you wait 5 years? Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, he was sidelined for. Yeah, yes. Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I gotta move along. I gotta move on. So anyway, he was silent for a month before returning to play in November of that season. Surgery was to remove the hardware. It took place in February and was considered minor, according to sources. That adds Hertz returned to his routine shortly after the procedure. Hertz will be a full participant in next week's offseason training program, according to sources. He also has separate surgery back in 2022. He suffered a high ankle sprain against the Giants in November 2021, missing a game, then returned after the bye week and led the Eagles to a playoff berth in his first year as a full starter. He was 14-1 as a starter last year for the Eagles with 35 touchdowns, 22 for passing, and 13 rushing. But perhaps his best performance for his he racked up 374 yards with four touchdowns, but one costly turnover that might have cost him the Super Bowl victory against the Chiefs. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right. Yes. Yes. Steve, did you met no. Yeah. Steve, did you mention about Chris Smith a while ago? Okay, okay. Yeah. Hold on. I gotta get rid of somebody. No. Yeah. Ooh, them's fighting words. Okay. Okay. Boy. When we get heated arguments right here, guys, we really get heated, don't we? Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, it is. It is. That's a fact. Um, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Hey, Gerald, you were mentioning something yesterday about a comment that was being made. You know how the clock stops in college football every time a team gets a first down? Well, they're going to do away with it except for the last 2 minutes of the half. So I heard you were making some comments about that. I want to get your thoughts on it. They're not going to stop the clock on first downs in college football except for the final 2 minutes in each half. Yeah, I get the reason why they want to try and shorten the games and make it a quicker game, much like with baseball and stuff now. But it might serve a disadvantage because now you have to get done in fewer plays. It's going to take away 7 or 8 plays on defense and cut down time. Yeah, certainly. Yes. Well, I get the point behind it, to speed up the game and whatnot, but that could serve as a disadvantage. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Right. Yeah. I get it. Right. I understand that. Okay. All right. So on to other news here. The Yankees injury list keeps on getting worse as first base Josh Johnson will miss a few weeks after a grade one hamstring during his rehab assignment. He is doing well, said Boone. He's getting around there, but there's something there. He was supposed to be back on track, was supposed to be back sooner. The former MVP was set to play one game for the Somerset Patriots. That's the Yankees' Double A team. But after 5 innings and 3 at bats, he was experiencing tightness. Upon his return for his rehab assignment, Donaldson underwent an MRI. This season, though, he's not been doing very well, though. He only has one home run and one RBI with 2 runs batted in this season. Last year, he did a lot more. And Giancarlo Stanton, yep, injured again. What a shock. I mean, this guy is a cancer to the Yankees. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't even begin to tell you what his injury list is like. I mean, it's just that bad. In fact, let me go to that right now because when you hear this list, oof. Well, then again, I don't think you'd be surprised. Yeah. Does anyone take an insurance policy on his career? Ooh. Oh, yes. All right. So the list of Stanton's injuries continue is unacceptable. It's unacceptable list often. Okay, because this is just a complete tragedy. It's unacceptable this often, he said 5 days after starting his string his left hamstring against the Twins. The team relies on me, and I can't have this continue to happen and put us in a tough spot. What a shock. Stan was hurt while pulling into second base with a two-run double in the seventh inning and went on the injured list the following day. He should be gone for 6 weeks. He has been on the injured list or disabled list 7 times in 5 seasons with the Yankees as he spoke to the media for the first time since getting injured. When he pinched a cheek with his right hand, then rubbed hands together. This belief is a disappointment at best. No kidding. So, to go on with this comic tragedy, Stan has missed 223 of 546 games in the previous 4 seasons because of a strained right biceps, a strained PCL ligament in his right knee, a strained left hamstring, a strained left quad, and a right ankle inflammation, and Achilles tendonitis. Stop me if this is getting ridiculous. Okay, so when the Marlins when the Marlins stand sat out due to right knee and with the Marlins stand sat due to a right injury in 2022, a right hamstring in 2013, broken left hand in 2015, and a strained left groin in 2016. Can you say accident prone every can you say accident prone anybody? Sure you can. Okay. Stan is hitting 269 with 4 home runs, 11 RBIs in 13 games this season. His career average is 264 with 382 homers and 982 RBIs and 2 dozen injuries to boot. Oh boy. I mean, really. Well, every team has, I think, one Achilles heel, and unfortunately, he's ours. What can I say? Yes. Yuck. Right, Mike? Nelson is an accident waiting to happen. Okay. I really have a sad news story here that I should have mentioned a few weeks ago, but we ran out of time. But this is another reason why games should be played on grass and not turf, especially in high school. A Kentucky high school player died 5 days after suffering a head injury during a spring football scrimmage. His name was Andrew Dotson from Kentucky. Hold on. He was injured 3 weeks ago on the final day of spring practice. He was hospitalized and died back on, I believe it was, sometime in mid April. And according to the State Athletic Association, Andrew was a junior tight end for the Maroons. The Kentucky High School Athletic Association acknowledged the death with a statement on Twitter. No words can explain or justify what happened here with these tragedies such as this. We only ask for peace and comfort to all around him and around the great Commonwealth. We encourage all to seek family friends to walk together through this difficult time and whatnot. Um, and of course, it was played on turf or whatever. I mean, this is why you have to play on natural grass, especially when you're in high school. I mean, these kids can't really take that kind of a punishment on turf like that. Something really needs to be done with this because we can't lose, you know, student athletes due to these conditions. It's just sad to see. Gavin, my nephew, was playing back in junior high, and he was getting injured. His friends were too because the surf is just too rough, and something needs to be done about this. That's true. That's true. Yeah, 10. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yeah. You're supposed to know as a coach what you're doing. Yes. But the thing is that you should be able to know what you're doing because you are the coach of that team. You're supposed to know what you're doing. Yeah, I wish they could. Yeah. No, it doesn't. That's what's the cause of all the injuries. Concrete is concrete. Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah. And Ottawa Senators will not bring back Cam Talbot next season as he's headed for free agency. Talbot was 17-14-2 this season with a 2.93 goals against average. And despite the fact that Connor McDavid scored 2 goals last night, the LA Kings actually won the game. Okay. And Matthew Tkachuk, Keith's boy, says that they're not underdogs as they face the Bruins. He says, I don't even think underdog is the right phrase. Going against talent like this, all we've done this season, we have to play perfect if we can beat them. And game two, they actually did. So maybe he's got something there. Hmm. I still say the Bruins are going to win the series, though. Do I call it luck? No. Do I call it luck? No, of course not. But uh, anytime that your opponent can get a win, they're going to get it. Another unfortunate incident involving a college football coach, as Dartmouth coach Buddy Tevins had his right leg. Steve, you listen to this. You'll find this interesting. Has right leg amputated and suffered spinal cord injuries after his bicycle was hit up by a pickup truck going 50 miles an hour. Yeah, that's the stupid part. Yeah. Oh, Matt's here. Good. Matt, your thoughts on this? Matt? Yeah, you do. You do. And like the never. Yes. Mm. Yes. Right. Right. Yes. Yes. Right. Hmm. Five. Okay. Right. Part of it was in Kansas, I would assume, especially I think the tornadoes thing. I think that a little bit. There is some significance to this because the draft is the same location, so there is slight significance into it. I think. Yeah. Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas though anymore. Oh, see what we do now. You guys really look into that one, didn't you? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Well, Mets fans, I got some bad news for you. Mike, you're gonna hate this. We can now confirm that Mets starting pitcher Max Scherzer has been issued a 10-game suspension for using a foreign substance on his hand during the game. There's idiot number three there. That's right. There you go. Yes. Yep. That's right. So, yes. So he appealed the penalty, and a fine of $10,000 was imposed by the league's senior vice president for on-the-field operations, Michael Hill. But Scherzer, since that the appeal would be heard by a special assistant, John McHale, he began to serve the suspension immediately. In exchange for the fine, he was cut in half to $5,000. A person familiar with negotiations between MLB and the Players Union told the Associated Press, a very fine publication itself. Scherzer thought he was going to be in front of a neutral arbitrator, but it went through the leagues before the game against the Giants, which progresses as which was going on. I was writing this article. So, given the process, I knew I would lose the appeal. Two other pitchers also got caught red-handed. Uh, the first was the Mariners' Hector Santiago in June of 21, and D-backs Caleb Smith in August of the year, and the substance is known as Ranson. Racing. Sorry, and he got caught with it. So yeah, it just goes to show you that cheaters don't win. Yes, they do. And they says, yeah, it's only cheating if you get caught. Well, guess what? You got caught with the goods. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, another good story here. I knew I was going to do this because this is another inspiring story. I think you'll all agree with me when you do. White Sox closer Liam Hendricks announces he is in remission and is cancer free. How do you like that? Yeah. To continue on, um, back in January, the White Sox closer revealed he had been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's, a cancer in the lymph system. He promptly began his treatment and publicly expressed optimism that he would be able to overcome this disease. The first promising step came earlier this month when Hendricks completed his final round of chemo on Thursday. The news got even better when Hendricks took to the social media to announce his doctors have informed that he is in remission and is cancer free. Now that is inspiring as well. It's still though not well, we don't know if he's going to be able to return the White Sox, once he decides he's ready to work his way into the game. But the White Sox did not place him on the 60-day injured list to begin the season. So theoretically, for now, he could return before the end of May. That, however, seems unlikely for now. There is far more important good news for him and the club to celebrate. So it is kind of good news. He might be able to return, and that's just wonderful. I mean, I think Betty should heard the story too, because she's also a cancer survivor. Cancer is not what it used to be, people. It's not a death sentence anymore. This can be treated. So even if you get diagnosed with, don't give up. You got to learn to fight it. But nevertheless, a very inspiring story. See, we do have good news to report in the sports world among all the nonsense. Am I right, people? Thank you. Can I get all together and say aye? You guys call yourself a chorus? Okay. And okay, one more here. I think I got one more. Oh yeah, and the Steelers are expected to trade for Rams wide receiver Allen Robertson. Um, for the move to be official, Robinson must pass a physical, of course. The Rams have paid $5 million of its $15 million guarantee for the upcoming season, and the Steelers are expected to pay a portion of the remaining $10 million. Okay. Robinson will become another experienced player acquired by the Steelers in the offseason. A team typically builds throughout the draft. The Steelers have been aggressive in the free agency under new general manager Omar Khan, signing vets like cornerback Patrick Peterson and guard Isaac Sigmu. Robinson will become the third most experienced player on the roster behind Peterson and Cam Hayward. Robinson signed a 3-year, $46 million deal last offseason, but finished on the injured reserve list with a foot injury late in the season. He injured his ankle late in the season versus the Chiefs in Week 12, and test fall the following week he showed a stress factor in his left foot. Okay, not so good. He underwent surgery and missed 6 games of the season. In his only season for the Super Bowl Rams, he had 33 catches for 339 yards and 3 touchdowns in 10 games. Mhm. Still, it's a lot of money, though. Yeah. Okay, now what's going on, guys? I hear some in the background. Yeah. No, it sounds more like No, it sounds like dishes breaking. Okay, it sounds like somebody's breaking. No, it sounds like somebody's breaking dishes. Hmm. Oh, I could be wrong. Okay, all right. So, and MLB wants to change more rules as experiencing with the experience with what's done in the Atlantic League. It's kind of weird. I mean, first you came up with the Ghost Runner, then you have this pitch clock, and now they want to change the game even more. So it's really becoming very strange with the way baseball's being done. And DeGrom exits the start for the Rangers with a sore wrist. Okay, Boy, injuries are already piling up. It's not even May yet, and the injuries are already starting to pile up in the baseball season. Okay, now, to, maybe it's possible. It's possible. So here's what I hear from the Atlantic League. The Atlantic League teams will be allowed to use a designated pitch runner who is not in the starting lineup this season. One of the three experimental rules. Major League Baseball will test this season in the league. Here's what you need to know: each club will use a designated pitch runner who can be substituted at any point in the game as a base runner. In another rule experiment, the Atlantic League pitchers will be permitted only one encouragement from the pitching rubber to per at bat. In 2023, this differs from the new MLB rule, which allows two uh, disagreement arguments at bat. The double hook design hitter rule, which was first introduced in the 2021 season, modified during the 2022 Atlantic League Championship season, is back. The rule is going to effect April 28th. Kind of weird, guys, with these new rules. Really changing the game of baseball. This is not what we used to see when we were young, right, guys? Yeah. Well, I got news. I'm not too, I don't mind the faster paced games, to be honest with you. I really don't. Because, I don't think people want to sit through 4 or 5 hour games just trying to get through the ninth inning and whatnot. I mean, yes, they do have a problem. Nobody said it was going to be a perfect system. Let's get that straight right now. Nobody said that this is going to be a perfect system with the pitch clock and everything, and I respect that. But you had them is doing wonders for the game. I think more people are more interested this season with these new rules, and of course, still with the Ghost Runner. So I don't have a problem with that. But the injuries, well, don't forget, injuries are a part of the game, especially in a long season like that. But piling up this early in the season, that also could say a lot too. But at least you get more time to recover than say you would say if you get injured like in well August, because you're going to need those players. You're going to need those players down the stretch. Okay, never mind. Now who it was? Why does he do that? All right, so now move on to this week in history. You guys ready? Okay. As soon as I find the right page. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Oops. This week in so we had a lot of idiots this week, didn't we, guys? Yeah. This week, well, it takes a while to look this up. Okay. And somebody needs to fix their phone. Okay. Okay, ready? All right. By the way, next week is the draft, so all you football crazies, tune in, of course. Okay. All right. Ah, back in 1876, just before the back in 1876, before the dinosaurs left the earth, the first official National League baseball game was played. The Boston Red Caps beat the Philadelphia Athletics 6-5 in Philadelphia. Oh, by the way, the A's are leaving Oakland and headed to Las Vegas. So, but I think we all knew that, didn't we? That was a foregone conclusion indeed. Mm. No, they're not. What a shame. End of an era in Oakland, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. In 1898, Baltimore's James Hughes no hits against Boston 8-0. In 1898, Cincinnati Reds Theodore Breaston hits no hits the Pirates 11-0. In 1903, the New York Highlanders become the Yankees and lose their first game as the Yankees against the Washington Senators in front of a crowd of 11,950. Wow. Okay, you're right. 1903 was when the Highlanders first came in. Then came the Yankees 10 years later. Yes. 1914, Babe Ruth's first professional game as a pitcher is a 6-nothing win. 1915, Yankees don the pinstripes and hat in the ring logo for the first time. How about that? All right. 1947, Basketball Association of America Finals. Philadelphia Warriors beat the Chicago Stags 83-80, taking the first series 4-2. 1955, Kansas City Athletics first games beat the Detroit Tigers 6-2. Oh, Taylor's not gonna be happy about that one. The White Sox beat the Kansas City Athletics 20-6 in one inning. Score 11 runs on one hit, 10 walks, and 3 errors. Sloppy game. 1959, Yankees Whitey Ford strikes out 15, beating the Senators 1-0 in 14 innings. What a boring game. 1962, Mets tie an NL record by losing 9 straight to start the season. Well, what do you want? I mean, come on. It was an expansion team that year. Come on. 1962, the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Chicago Blackhawks for the Stanley Cup and won it 4-2. By the way, I also want to congratulate Quinnipiac for winning the college hockey championship 2 weeks ago. I neglected to say that, but a very fine win for a fine school, and that was their first win in any sports championship in school history. So congratulations on that. Okay, 1969, Joe Frazier knocks out American Dave Zaglewick in the first round to retain his heavyweight boxing title. And Ali puts it, I don't want to talk about Frazier. I don't want to talk about Frazier. Oh boy. Eek. I apologize for that. New York Mets, Tom Seaver struck out the last 10 Padres pitchers for a total of 19. In 1970, the Senators beat the Yankees 2-1 in 18 innings. Yes. Any of you guys remember this one? 1981, Dodgers rookie Fernando Valenzuela tossed his third shutout in 4 starts. Fernando Valenzuela. Yep. 1982, the Braves lost their first game after their first 13 games of the season. Oh boy. 1988, NJ Devil Patrick Sundstrom sets an NHL playoff record of 8 points in a playoff game, including a hat trick and 5 assists and a 10-0 run over the Capitals. Oops, sorry, Steve. Sorry. Yeah. Frank Thomas hits the first home run at the new Comiskey Park in 1991. Yep. 1993, Seattle Mariner Chris Fazio hits a no-no against the Red Sox. 1994, American figure skater Tanya Harding and ex-husband sues her ex-husband Jeff Goldby for $42,000 plus. And at the end of it, he said, "Why me? Why me?" Sorry. Oh boy. That's to my former co-worker who does a great impersonation of her. Okay, 1994. Oh, remember this? Michael Moore beat Evander Holyfield in 12 rounds for the heavyweight boxing championship. Remember that one, Steve? Yeah. And 1995, George Foreman beats Axel Schultz, 12 rounds for the heavyweight boxing championship in Las Vegas. By the way, did you know that there's going to be a new George Foreman movie out coming up? Yeah. And then, of course, there's a sequel. It's going to be called George, and George. I had to do it. Ran to you and me. Never mind. I can't do that here. George of the jungle. No, I can't do that here. You get the idea. All right, guys. So we're just about out of time. I want to thank everyone for coming in. It was another great show. Don't forget, for all you draft people out there, we're going to cover the first 2 rounds of the draft next week. As we end that, we'll also, of course, have our best and worst of the month as well, along with the other features. And of course, we'll also cover the first round of the XFL playoffs, in case anybody's interested on that. So I'm gonna make way for Rasal, then to for him to take over, for him to do his show. So I hope you all come back next week, same time, same station, 4:05 here on the East Coast. That note, have a good week. Good night, everybody.